Welcome everybody to the last day of our great session at the Innov8rs. Very happy to welcome you. My name is Nikolai Shetkin from Matchmaker Ventures. I have the pleasure and honor to moderate today's showcase session, which is all about startup scouting, ecosystem mapping, tools, how to get scalability, how to get efficiency in. As always, we want to keep this interactive, so I already encourage people, please use the chatter. Just let's get your questions out there so that we can all learn from each other as an open session. I have the pleasure to not be talking all myself, so otherwise you would be probably very, very bored. So therefore I have three colleagues here with me. I have Matthew Veal, based out of Cardiff and Wales, where I learned that the storm is there so far. All is good. He's safe and sound inside. A lawyer by background, a lawyer by profession with a technology twist. So it's all about patent challenges and using data to get make sense out of this one from Patsnap. We then have also Ingrid Willems, based out of Brussels, here with us. Hey, Ingrid. Entrepreneur with a very sound and solid corporate background. So you have the understanding of both worlds, the agile and the creativity and the processes world, and you're trying to connect this world in terms of the CEO and co-founder of the Datascouts. Welcome, Ingrid.
Thank you.
And then we have Diane Finkhousen, based out of Clarksville in Georgia. So it's a little bit earlier, I guess, where you are at the moment. Again, also focus on how to make use of new technologies by building platforms, operations, and workforce ecosystems, among other roles, because if you check her out on LinkedIn, there's a couple of roles, but founder and CEO of Shoshin Work. So again, very excited. Each of you will have afterwards a time for 10 minutes to introduce and demo a little bit of what you're doing. Still, we want to kick it out for a little bit of an intro to today's afternoon session, and maybe I'll just give a big question. We talk about data, about processes, about scalability, and of course, data is the new oil, as one said. But how does it relate to innovation efforts? Maybe Ingrid, I just pick you out first. What does data mean for innovation? How can this help us?
Yeah, I think we live in a world where as you say, data is the new oil. We cannot think of doing anything, I think, in what we're doing today without data. Now, our company, we're scouting data. I mean, that is what we're pulling off. But mainly, data is fast an ingredient in order to really understand, who are the stakeholders in an ecosystem, in a market? How is that market changing? What are the trends that are really making sense? And so I think what I feel is that data on its own is overrated. On data on its own, you cannot do anything. It's mainly, while data might be king, it is the intelligence that rules the world. And I think that is really what is so important, is how do we use the right data we need, the relevant information, and bring that into actionable insights? How do we use those things to do the things we have to do? So overall, data, very interesting. We really need it, but it's all the intelligence that counts, according to me.
If you talk about an innovation data, so what is for you like, hey, this is really looking at innovation ecosystem? Is there any really specific data sources you are looking at, or just give us a glimpse of what is this? What are you looking at?
Well, if we look at data, we believe that there is not like one source. There is not one holy grail. And I think that is what's so interesting in the world we are in. It's a world that changes very fast. So you need to be very smart in connecting a lot of data sources together in order to really understand who the actors are, what the trends are, what the patterns are, what the maturity of your market, your technology is. And I think that is, especially where we are very on our platform side working on, is integrated multiple sources of data together, bring that information together, and then really start analyzing the trends and the changes that are happening in the ecosystem. So our call is, don't just use one data source. There is not one data source that is complete. It's impossible, but really get very good in collecting data, connecting them together, and do that as real time as possible.
Matthew, one data was now another point. I'm connecting different data sources. Now, as I understand, you guys are quite focused on patents and also understanding that one. So are you then working with one data source, or what can you make sense, or how do you make sense of patents?
I'll answer that one, but first I'm going to go entirely the other way and say data is king.
I love it.
So that's where we've got to begin. Data was there before oil. You wouldn't have found oil without data. Data is there now, and data will be there after oil's gone and done. So from an open innovation perspective, you need to have data to work with one another. Oil gets used by one person, data can get used by lots of people over and over again. So when we talk about connecting that data, yes, patents is one big aspect. If you're a technology company and you're looking to make new inventions, that data is great, but you don't operate in isolation. You operate with all these other people in the ecosystem, whether they're manufacturers or end consumers. You need data on all of those people. So patent data, great, but if you can link that patent data to commercial data, market data, and consumer data, then you've got a real great information source, which becomes a knowledge source. And there you go, you're into business.
Okay, we will learn a little bit more. I'm already excited to learn a little bit more about what exactly you do, because I'm still trying to fully grasp it. Let's go over the ocean. How first of all, how's Georgia? How is it, Diane?
It's lovely, lovely. Thanks. Send a little sunshine our way when you're done with it.
Very good.
We have a lot of rain and wind over here at this moment, Diane.
Yeah, a lot of storm coming.
Oh, you can keep that.
you explain me. I read your, and again, I also encourage everybody connect on LinkedIn, right? Connect with each other, connect in the communities. It's always great. And I said, of course, I did my homework. I read a little bit about it. It's all about you and your statements. All about connections. All about platforms. It's all about operations and automation. What does it all mean for innovation? How does link ecosystem mapping, startup scouting? How do you see what's the importance and what is it changing really?
Yeah, it's a really exciting period for innovation, as I think everybody here probably recognizes. But the digital economy has really given rise to platforms and ecosystems, right, as the new operational engine, and therefore connections and connectors, right? We're moving from a product world to a platform world to a protocol world, really. And that means that the connections and the connectors between those who are creating value in marketplaces are all the more important, right? Markets are moving more quickly than they ever have. New technologies, inventors, business models are coming online every day. So we need to, whereas I think we can probably all remember a time when business was focused on very precision forecast, and we would go out and do QMIs and pulse the market on a periodic basis, and that really is no longer sufficient in the digital era. We have to have a constant pulse on what's going on in markets around us, and so we need to be data proficient, and we need to be able to determine what data, what signals, what insights are most important for our success, and have a sensing and sense-making system in place so that the market surprises don't creep up on us.
If I may ask everybody, like just your gut feeling, because it's always I think it's always interesting to understand what is the starting base, and we talk about again, and we'll hear a lot more about what you can do, what are technologies capable of, but I would like from you your assessment, because you speak a lot in the market as well. You speak to different corporates. To what extent, in your point of view and from your experience, are currently corporates who are looking to startups, etc., innovators trying to use it, are using the existing tools? Are we currently the level of exploration of leveraging technologies at 5%? So there's way more opportunities, or are we already at 50%? Hey, there's a lot of players who actually use these technologies. Just a quick gut feeling. Anybody who has a view on where we are in terms of what could be done, they are also doing?
Yeah, I'll jump in and welcome the rest of the panel, but we see a really significant shift underway. Just over the past 12, 18 months, we're seeing a huge shift. Organizations are investing in insights and intelligence, and they're investing in more agile operating models and networked operating models, ecosystems. Okay. Rest of the panel?
Can I draw you dare to take a number on where we are between, hey, overall, what can be done? If they use all the technologies to the best extent, it's 100. If nobody's using it, 0. Just your best guess. Where are you? Where are we just today? What's your feeling?
Oh, I'd say we're still at 20%. The opportunity is still enormous in front of us. Much work to be done. Yes.
Interesting. Which is great. Know what you said. This is the exciting period. Ingrid, Matthew, any views from you?
I would be a bit more optimistic, to be very honest. I feel if you're in our hype cycle, I feel that there is like a lot of uptake of new things, as well as very quickly. Every time, as well as a startup, you're presenting to a corporate, you feel that they're very eager to understand which tools you're using. I mean, how you're doing things. And I see a lot of experimentation going on. So people jump on these things, try things out. But I fear we're a little bit indeed at the hype cycle on the top and eventually already going a bit in dissolution because none of the tools is really solving all the problems we have. And I think that's a little bit the feeling I have. There is too much tools. They're not really interconnected. They're not always really making the processes interlinked and make you work very, very easily. But hey, that's a hype cycle. We'll get out of this and the best things will streamline the process and make it better. So I would say that we're around at least 45%.
Okay.
Of a pickup of what's out there.
Excellent. Thank you. Matthew, you dare to have the final vote?
I'm an optimist as well. And it might not sound like it, but I'm an optimist, but I reckon we're about 1%. And the reason we're about 1% is because we're barely scratching the surface of what artificial intelligence can do. That's the buzzword around now. And actually what artificial intelligence is going to do to data and the way we have processes is going to change the world entirely as we go forward. And we're just about scratching the surface. So optimist, 1%, lots to come.
Lots to come. And also to the audience, happy if you just put in your chat, if you have different views, you can also comment on that one. Let's get also the chat going. So I think it's a beautiful question. Just put in now. You had 1, we had 5, 20. Let's see at the end of the panel if we can come out with, hey, this is the gross understanding, or is it really completely wide, which even more makes then the sense of those kind of discussions. So we see here, Stephen, thank you, 5%. So a lot of potential belief there's still ahead of us. I'd probably also say we're rather at the lower end. So I believe I would note myself somewhere at the Diane at the 20% as my view. I think we are still, there's a lot of great technologies out there which can be done, and there's still a lot of things happening. And I guess also as Ingrid said, kind of there's not the one tool solving it all yet or on the way. Let's see how this goes. With this being said, we're 15 or 14 minutes in. I think let's give our chance to learn a little bit more about what you all are exactly doing and demo your solution. Let's learn about it. We see more votes coming in, 5-10%. So again, please guys answer. And now I would go over to Matthew, your time, your stage. Tell us what exactly you're doing, how you help it. And then we'll go to Ingrid, and then we'll finish off with Diane. And then we have a few more minutes to discuss. And again, also on the way, folks, if you have questions, just put them in the chat, and then we'll make sure that we address those. Matthew.
Excellent. Thank you. Hopefully I can explain a little bit about what Patsnap is and what we do. Here we go. And from the beginning. Here we go. Can we see that? Yeah, excellent. Brilliant. So Patsnap, I'm going to do this and keep it short and sweet and without my voice droning on as well. I've got some animations. So contents, we're going to do a little introduction to what Patsnap is. Then we're talking about the R&D intelligence tools we have, the intellectual property intelligence tools we have, the professional services we have, and then we just wrap it up. So we'll keep going. So what is Patsnap? And who are Patsnap? We are the global leaders in connected innovation intelligence. We use AI-powered and machine learning technology to comb through billions of data sets and help innovators connect the dots. With a team of more than 800 Patsnappers spanning 3 continents and 10,000 plus customers in 40 plus countries, we're revolutionizing the innovation process and making it faster, more efficient, and easier than ever before. I use the term connected innovation intelligence. What is that? So it's the process of combing through and connecting billions of data points via AI-powered technology and machine learning. That information can be tech news, scientific research, investment data, market reports, mergers and acquisitions, litigations, licensing, and as the name suggests, patent data, and much, much more. It's brought together to give our innovators a 360-degree view of the marketplace. Our connected innovation intelligence platform allows users to quickly filter through that data, extract the key insights, identify market opportunities, and make better business decisions. So you'll see a few of the advantages that we have on the screen in front of you. So let's go first into our discovery platform, which really focuses on the connecting patent data to the real world, so the R&D intelligence.
At Patsnap, we're passionate about connecting R&D teams to actionable innovation intelligence. That's why we built Discovery, to connect market, competitor, and technology data points, to identify signals from noise, to connect the dots and help you innovate better. Discovery connects different knowledge bases and data sources to help you validate your decisions at the early stages of the R&D process, improving your innovation pipeline. It connects competitor intelligence so you can track their strategic moves to differentiate and stay ahead. It connects commercial and market intelligence so you can better anticipate opportunities and threats in new and adjacent spaces. And it connects different users through better workflow and collaboration to speak the same language. Connect the dots. Innovate better. With Patsnap, get in touch to see how Discovery can help you.
Excellent. So that was the Discovery platform. That's part of the platform we have. We have the other side of the platform now, which is the intellectual property analytics part. And I'll let the video speak for itself.
The amount of data in the world is increasing every single second, meaning R&D teams have an overwhelming...
Or I might play the right video, and then it would be okay.
Introducing Insights by Patsnap. In this video, we will discover how Insights provides R&D teams and innovators with critical answers from patent data, with ease, with speed, and accuracy. By the end of 2019, global R&D spending will reach $2.3 trillion. However, 94% of global executives are dissatisfied with their innovation performance. Insights by Patsnap provides those missing pieces to the puzzle. It's an intelligence tool that draws answers from big data in patents to key questions such as: how can we find new areas of opportunity to drive innovation? What do the trends tell us about the pace of growth? How do we stay ahead of the technology curve and develop a better competitive advantage? What risks are involved? And how can we maximize the value of our innovation investment? Of course, everybody wants to get to information quickly, so our Insights homepage is designed with exactly that in mind, to offer a rapid entry point for creating instant but highly customized dashboards. These include the technology dashboard, the company dashboard, and the competitive dashboard. And the Patsnap playbooks enable you to answer more specific questions in seconds, such as, what is the value of my portfolio? Or what would a specific merger between two organizations look like? Or indeed, how can I identify areas of a portfolio that might need pruning? There are multiple ways to surface the key concepts and themes that are shaping a technology area. And these can be vital for discovering new approaches or uses for a technology, such as the key technologies using IPC codes, technology clusters, and the word cloud function. In the market planning phases, the maturity of a technology, whether it's in a growing stage or in a more advanced phase, can be quickly identified with the technology lifecycle chart. This chart helps users analyze changes in the number of patent applications over time to understand where in its lifecycle a technology space might be. Licensing information can be explored to discover useful supporting technologies and potential business partners alike. The assignee relationship chart can help users understand the relationships between assignees involved with the development of the invention. This is useful to understand what applicants are more open to forming partnerships and where licensing opportunities may exist. Alternatively, the new entrants chart will instantly identify who's entered a new area for the first time, and therefore who could represent a new disruptive threat, or indeed a new potential partner. Whilst thinking about threats, the competitor overview charts are vital for conducting activities such as SWOT analysis and understanding your competitors' strategies. This innovation strategy radar map offers comparative insights into the R&D specializations and collaborative activities of different organizations. Meanwhile, other threats can be investigated, such as the danger of litigation, for which much more detailed information can be quickly accessed using this interactive trend chart. As far as maximizing value is concerned, organizations can review their own competitors' portfolios to determine whether they are focusing on those patents with the higher valuations or whether they have a high volume of less valuable innovation. Our technology area benchmark chart can reveal the technology areas that are commanding the highest value compared to market averages, so that R&D efforts can be laser focused on finding the most valuable technologies. In terms of driving innovation, Insights by Patsnap helps users plot 3D topographical landscapes so that new areas of opportunity in low-lying white spaces or adjacent technology areas can be quickly identified and explored. If you'd like to find out more about how to unlock this information and accelerate your innovation, then speak to your Patsnap representative today or visit us at patsnap.com for your own personalized demonstration.
Excellent. So that's not all we do. We won't leave you alone with the platform because everyone needs help every now and again. What we do have additionally are professional services to help. So we have platform services, which will help you get the most out of the platform, and the search and research services team, which I sit on using my experience as a European patent attorney. We'll do research into technology landscapes with your competitors to help you get those reports that you need, and also do your tactical services as well, such as prior art, invention disclosures, and freedom to operate. That's from me, and we've made time.
Fantastic. Perfectly in time. Thank you very much, Matthew. I do believe that at the end to hopefully have a few minutes to also drill down into that one. Very interesting. I think very, very capable, very, very comprehensive as a tool already. So quite a few things I can do with it. How long does it take in order to learn the tool, to use the tool, to get it started?
Can you use Google?
Yes.
You can use Patsnap.
Fantastic. All right, let's keep on moving to give everybody the fair share amount of time. Ingrid, we will go to you next, and then we will learn about all what you guys are doing and how you use technology in order to find the right opportunities, to help find the right collaboration opportunities. Time is yours, please. We see your screen and in full screen. Perfect.
Perfect. Well, very interesting presentation on Patsnap, for sure, as well, a partner with whom we love to work together. On Datascouts, as I introduced before already, we're very much concerned about the fact that being an analyst today is a very tedious job to be done. On one hand, there is an overload of data. There's a lot happening in the world we're living in. There's a lot of platforms and opportunities to interact with. And often the question that we get as a business analyst, an ecosystem analyst from our customer, internal, external, is not always as clear as we would like to have it. So from that point of view, as Datascouts, we've started building our platform as a collaborative platform, allowing an analyst or a team of analysts in a collaborative way to start gathering data, to start building a knowledge base about the ecosystem they want to understand, the stakeholders that are in there. And more as we move ahead, is really to detect trends, early warnings, blind spots that are happening in that very specific ecosystem that you're monitoring, that you're part of, by continuously monitoring the ecosystem. So we moved from originally really the mapping of the ecosystem, the stakeholders, into how can I continuously get an update on that data and really move into a modus of instant insights, because I mainly continuously understand what's happening. Now, where did we start? And we're still very active today as well, is that mainly everything that is happening in the innovation domain has moved into a digital approach, if you want. It's a combination of online and offline information that we try to gather, to track in order to understand the market in which we're working, who the startups are that are growing, the investors in which startup scale-ups are they investing, which technology are they investing, what acquisitions are happening, what patents are available. So we see that a lot of the corporates with whom we work are really mixing all kinds of data sources in order to really, don't miss out on anything that might be particularly important for their business. So there's a lot of platforms that are used and a lot of reports that people are reading, gathering in order to really stay up to date. There's a lot of startup events, technology events happening, sometimes in-house open innovation events together with parties, sometimes your own pitching events, that are happening. Of course, the whole COVID situation has drawn us back to an online form of those events, but they will come back. And I think we're all looking forward very much to those. And then the other end is as well the whole social media and the network. If you can Google, you find everything you want today. And being part of a network is for sure the right way of getting to that information. And so we see in a lot of corporate environments that all these kind of tools are used in order to stay really, get an information finger on the pulse on what is happening. The thing we notice, however, is that results often in very scattered information. In everybody, I would say, an innovation manager, the people in the R&D department, sometimes business development, is really having their own view of the truth, their own view of how the world is changing. And that is exactly where we wanted to look into that. Datascouts can offer a more collaborative approach, a more ecosystem thinking approach as well, in order to really generate those unique insights. I use this this nice green background to indicate like what this ecosystem looks like. If you look at all those startups and technology players, they all look a little bit the same, isn't it? They all do AI. We're all talking the same kind of data language. So where are the differences? And not only on the technology side, but mainly in the application, the solution that you're looking for your specific business case. So that means that you need to look into a lot of other things that you need to take into account. You want to understand market trends. You want to understand how consumer behavior is changing over time. As an analyst, you want to understand as well, like what is happening in terms of regulations, legislation on the politics side for very new disruptive solutions you want to bring to market. Are there any proven tests that these kind of technologies work in the application domain that you are active in? How mature is the technology that you want to work with? We're often working in still very linear value chains, although we see that we're looking and moving much more to circular economies, where enabling relationships is getting a completely new way of working digitally as well as physically. Timing maturity, I talked about it before. Where are we exactly in the life cycle of a technology and of a market? It has a lot to do with risk, with uniqueness, with scalability, access to resources, capital, equipment. So there's a lot of questions as a business analyst you ask yourself when you're doing this analysis. So doing a scouting for finding some technologies that do something, we notice, going back to the experience we saw here before, that many organizations are always or very often working with people they know, with organizations that are recommended, and not having really that complete view, not even of the colleagues with whom they're working on the same domain. And exactly that is why we started working on that collaborative workflow for scouting and monitoring, and try to automate the process as much as possibly by exactly interlinking with many different data sources. So the workflow is very, very obvious, as we all use to work when we're doing analysis, is we try to scope something. The more clear the boundaries are, the definitions of the scope we have, the easier it will be for an AI-driven platform to gather the data that's really relevant for your research. You start doing your research, you start conducting a market gathering exercise, I would say, and the machine is able to scout across multiple startup directories, across 35,000 news outlets, patent databases, publicly funded project, financial company data, something that you as a human being cannot not do. So you can go much more broader than going through a list of companies you know or you saw on an event. Based upon that, the machine is capable of segmenting and clustering the information and build semi-automated a landscape of lookalikes of similar companies working on certain technologies and application domains. That allows you to very quickly build a long list of companies that might be very interesting for exactly the need that you're looking at. And in the end, by quickly scanning through the system, you can build the short list of the companies that really match your criteria. So that is giving you an idea how the platform supports the business analyst, the scouting specialist, in really doing that work. in order to, avoid the question afterwards of Nikolai, like, how easy is it? We noticed that it is quite easy to follow this, but at the same time that often companies do not really have the time to do it themselves. And in that case, we're going to offer our services. We're mainly, although we try to do this in a very quick way, we aim to deliver our market scans within 5 days. It means that we still have touch points with the customers, and we allow our customers to have at the debrief the opportunity to steer still the outcome of the research. Now, I wanted to share with you as well how we're working together with P&G on the Incubate ecosystem, the startup ecosystem around Procter & Gamble. And we support them with a scouting and a tracking platform. Here, you mainly get to screenshots of our scouting platform. As said before, where we aim to very quickly get an idea, a long list of companies that are fitting the needs of the research that we had to do. If you have some time, I'm more than happy to demo it afterwards. But in big lines, we follow the steps I just said before, and we offer a lot of filters in order to make it very easy and quick to find back the companies that really fit the research that you're looking for. We're not just looking on keywords, because as we're often Googling, and Google is our main tool as researcher, we're very gotten into, I put in a keyword and I get a lot of answers. Now, we strongly believe that that is not sufficient, and that you need to use a combination of keywords on one hand, but as well semantic similarity. And we have built a system that allows you, by indicating what you deem interesting within the list, the long list of companies, and on the other side, articles, to make very quick choices and build in a very natural and organic way a short list of companies that fit your needs. At the same time as well, we've built in quite a little bit of filter capabilities, so you can really filter companies on one side, but sufficiently important as well, the articles, to find what you're looking for on a geographical level, on a maturity level, and so forth. Why do we use content as well? As said before, although we do a federated search across multiple startup directories, company directories, and so forth, we strongly believe as well that there's a lot of value in content that is published and that is made available. So we're collecting content about the topics that you deem important. You can always, here, as you see, filter them out if you want to see patents, if you want to see press releases, articles or blogs. You can select on the dates you want to work with. You can exclude keywords that are not so interesting, but the same process of finding interesting articles, and then again start analyzing those articles on the actors that are mentioned in there, the relationships they have with each other. So this is the scouting process on the one side, but we use that as well for the tracking and the monitoring of an ecosystem. That's where we originally started, is really help companies to map their ecosystem, to really get an idea profile of the companies they're involved with, and build very quickly that database. So we're not a data provider. If you want, we're a broker of data. We use the existing data sources around, can be a Crunchbase, can be a Patsnap, can be any other database that's out there. You can have your own keys. We use your own keys. You can use our default data packages that we offer. But by using the startup tracking platform, you can mainly start nurturing your own database of companies that you're interested in, you're working with, or the ones that you are monitoring, because that might be interesting for the future. This is a glimpse of the functionality we offer. But I think what is even more exciting that we want to work on is really building what we call an integrated strategy machine. As I said in the beginning, a lot of things are happening around us. There's a lot of data we can monitor, but we see that sometimes we just don't know. If you look into innovation, there's a lot still ahead of us. And I wanted to share with you how we work for P&G and Incubate around like a question they have, like what's the impact of the Green Deal on the business activities of P&G, and especially the innovation ecosystem that they're active in. So
just need to monitor the time, please. That also have time for Diane. So
yes, fine. I'm going to close off with this slide. So indeed, there's a couple of scenarios and a couple of elements that are interesting for them about green logistics, about renewable packaging, natural ingredients, just to name a few of them. So we've set up the Datascouts platform to allow to detect trends, early warnings, and potential blind spots in the ecosystem, because we're continuously monitoring the stakeholders, the articles, the patterns, as we said before. And the nice thing is that this is not just a machine. The real intelligence happens by combining the data with the AI and, of course, with the expertise of the experts in the teams. I hope I was able to give you a glimpse of what Datascouts can do in order to streamline your analysis processes around open innovation and innovation in general.
Thank you very much, Ingrid. Indeed, and I can see the link towards your interstatement. You need to integrate different data sources and make sense of it. So I think beautifully put up here. I'm going to look first at timing, and I think let's see if we have questions at the end, because I do want to make sure that also, Diane, we don't need to rush into your part. So I would propose, Diane, let's go across the Atlantic. Let's go to Georgia, and it's your time. Very interested to what you're showing us. Please, we see your screen and.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nikolai. And actually, I should note that Ingrid's attorneys just called me and asked me to add the cautionary small print regarding the addictive nature of their platform. It is, I can tell you as a partner, I rely heavily on Ingrid and the Datascouts team for the insights for our program. And once you dive into that platform, you might be lost for hours. It's truly addictive. So, but we'll touch upon that later on in the pages here. So,
you might just want to go in full screen. Then we have just go in presenter mode. Then we see the slide bigger.
All right, very good. I was testing the eye chart that we might be able to put up on screen. So, do you have full screen here?
No, we still see only the overview.
Okay, then let's try it one last time.
Otherwise, we need to. Yes, perfect. Much better.
Fabulous. Okay, it's the delay across the pond. So, so just a quick run through, folks, on what we do at Shoshin Works. As Nikolai mentioned earlier, Shoshin Works is a consulting and advisory firm that really is focusing on helping organizations transition from traditional operating models to ecosystem-powered operating models. And really, what we're seeing in the market today is that we're all grappling with faster futures, right? Markets, technologies, innovations are moving at a pace that we've really never seen, and so organizations and leaders are really adjusting their insights models and their operating models in order to match pace, and that requires, frankly, a new performance engine. So the new performance engine for the digital economy combines platforms and ecosystems, insights and automation in order to put the information into the right hands at the right time for the right decisions and the right actions. It's not easy to make that shift. The problem is the shift, right? Moving from very linear, hierarchical, sequential business models that are very structured, basically on an assembly line. The world put business on an assembly line during the Industrial Revolution and never really moved off of it. But now with the digital economy, we're seeing that platforms and ecosystems allow us to extend the reach of our organizations. We're able to, as everybody here knows, we're able to reach outside of the boundaries of our organizations for innovation, right, for collaboration and for the contribution of value. So no longer are we bound by the boundaries of our enterprise for the production of value. We can very easily leverage open innovation, open talent, and even open procurement to extend the reach and the solution pathways for the markets that we serve. But shifting into that mode requires a little bit of an adjustment. And so the work that we are doing at Shoshin Works is helping organizations navigate that shift. We're seeing a lot of organizations. Nikolai, to your earlier question, you asked us about the degree to which organizations are really achieving that shift, and whereas we had a bit of a distribution in the answers, we all agree that there's a lot of upside potential in front of us, and that's really what Shoshin is helping organizations do. We're helping organizations create a very smooth off-ramp for outdated policies, mindsets, and methodologies, and a very smooth on-ramp for new mindsets, new methodologies, and frankly, an ecosystem operating model. Where organizations often get stuck in this journey, if they're trying to go it alone, is at the project level. They may experiment, to Ingrid's earlier point, they may experiment with open innovation at a project level. They may experiment with automation at a workflow level. It's very difficult to scale that in a way that doesn't break your performance model on your traditional operations, but gets you to an efficient shift into the digital operating model that you want. And very simply, that's what we do at ShoshinWorks. We consult very closely with our client organizations. We provide them with strategy, design, development, and deployment of ecosystem operating models, leveraging digital solutions, open talent, and open innovation network operations. And we help them navigate that journey with change management and a very close advisory system. We can manage those operations for them and basically train and transfer those operations to their organizations as their teams and their operations are ready to consume the new open talent, open innovation operating models. But it's a journey, right? You need to begin with where you are as an organization. You need to leverage the ecosystem intelligence that we've heard about from Ingrid and Matthew to determine what's going to be best, who the best partners, the best entrepreneurs are for your network. And then you need to begin small scale, but you need to begin now with experimentation, with open innovation, open talent, new operating models from which you can then scale and optimize. And that change management, that strategic advisory work is where we help organizations with that journey. We believe that we've heard a lot about the ecosystem intelligence from Ingrid and Matthew. Absolutely essential. It needs to be always on. We all need constant sensing and sense making. Otherwise, we're going to be incredibly surprised with the changes in markets. So the always on ecosystem intelligence is business critical these days. With these shifts, open talent, open innovation, ecosystem intelligence, we now can add basically the human cloud to the technology cloud and move with greater flexibility, greater precision, greater speed, and most importantly, greater resilience in the digital economy. So again, just to wrap it up, we rely heavily upon the partnership with Datascouts for our ecosystem intelligence systems. And then we couple that with deep expertise in ecosystem operations in order to help organizations navigate that journey. We're working with some of the most brilliant minds and models in this space, working with organizations like NASA and UST in order to help them find the next gear and the right model for the digital economy. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Nikolai.
Thank you very much, Diane. Very interesting. One question already came up, and you kind of, at least a little bit, answered now. What kind of clients? So who's using? With whom are you collaborating? I mentioned some very big organizations. Is it only the big ones, or are you also for smaller, medium? Where are you?
Yeah, great question. Thank you for asking that. I just mentioned too that we're kind of household names, but these models are equally powerful and potentially even more so for small and mid-sized businesses that frankly need that flexible growth model, right? So small to mid-sized organizations should not be over-investing in fixed resource bases for that growth vector. They need to have a very flexible, elastic growth model, and this is the perfect operating model for them.
Thank you. I need to give the credit for the great question to Stephen. So I just read it out of the chat. I don't want to take credit for something I don't know.
Thanks,
so Stephen, great question. I open up also to everybody else. Questions, guys, please feel free. We want to make sure that everybody gets out of the session what he or she wants to get out of it. So please put it into the chat or raise your hand and we'll find a way to address your question. Otherwise, of course, I will always have enough curiosity to learn more. Maybe, but the same question still also maybe go to you, Ingrid. So kind of two questions maybe. On the one hand, you said you also do the legwork itself. So it's not only the technology, but it's also a consultancy or a service company. What is the split? So how many use only the technology versus how many use technology plus actually do it for me? Is there a trade-off?
Well, it's a good question. What we notice is that mainly the ecosystem owners themselves, I would say, incubators, accelerators, they're using the platform themselves. So they're often doing that services for their own customers. We have organizations like Shoshin works and others across globe, because that's the way we think we can really get a global spread, because consultancy is not scalable. So we are mainly focused on our consulting activities in Belgium and in the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. But we're working with quite some large organizations, and that's also where I'm looking like how can we make sure that we can serve them, in that collaborative workflow across the globe. So if we go to the larger organizations we've seen, and that's what Diane was saying as well, that it's not just about adopting a tool. It's really about mindset, and it's a lot about capability building if you really want to go to an always-on monitoring and market watch system. So overall, the larger customers, it's all a combination of consulting and tooling.
Matthew, maybe also a question to you in this regard. Getting started with the tools. It's like Google's using it, but I think Ingrid just mentioned very clearly it's also the mindset, it's the willingness, and you also need to have the skill sets. Let's be honest, too. It's not only Google. Hey, now what does it mean? How do you integrate into your workflow? So how do you take this at Patsnap? Here's the tool. Go ahead. It's like Google, or is there an onboarding? You work with your team to learn how to use it. How can I imagine this?
So we've got the whole start to finish. So Patsnap is for everyone. If you join the platform, we'll give you the training that you need to really make the most out of it. And then as you get good at it, you'll find it, go down the rabbit hole of data and find more and more and more and more and more, and everything you want and stuff you didn't want. But now you find that I didn't want that, but actually it's really interesting and I'll find some more. Or we have our professional services as well, where we have skilled individuals that will help you tailor what you're looking for to actually get the answers you want, specifically in time, orderly fashion, which is really good as well. So we can do it all. Patsnap's for everyone. We work with everyone. And if you're an innovator and you want to learn about what's going on out there and find out how you can make the most out of what you're doing, then we can do that.
All right, that sounds very good. Maybe we're already hitting the end again. Question time is open if anybody has some. I still have one big one. And this actually goes, I actually don't like it, but I'll still address it to everybody. What is the one thing you're kind of in our line of business? What are you excited about? So kind of is there any kind of, hey, we're developing this new feature, or this is coming up, or this is our objective of this year? Is there something you're really excited about, or specifically from a technology point of view? Is there anything which say, hey, this is really exciting me already because something was released, might be from your own company, might be from a competitor or a partner? Anything we say, hey, this is really cool. You should watch out for that one, or take a deeper look into this. As we have this group, anybody who has a view on this? Ingrid, Diane, Jan. Oh, Matthew, sorry, you were the last. You go first.
Artificial intelligence. We're incorporating it into the platform. It's being incorporated into all aspects of life, and it's really going to revolutionize everything that we do.
Okay. When is it? So to say, when can we see more in your platform?
It's already in there.
Okay.
In different parts, yeah.
Okay, coming more. Fantastic. Other views? Diane, Ingrid, anything from you and you're excited about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm very excited about workforce ecosystems. Platform-enabled workforce ecosystems, really, we're seeing the world open up and talent is incredibly mobile and empowered, which gives organizations the ultimate landscape and choice. We can access talent and solutions anywhere. Open innovation is one tool in that landscape, but we're going to see the ultimate in the elastic organization show up in the next year or so.
Okay, exciting. Ingrid, from your end?
Yeah, I think I'm moving it a little bit further out of the technology side, although it's all technology enabling it. I really see that we're growing up and maturing it as ecosystems in having a balanced collaboration between startups and larger corporations. I think we've really found a way of how do we work together to really accelerate, not just find ideas and build it ourselves, but really move things together, plug them together, go to distributed systems that are connected. And I really feel like that's really exciting because that's the only way to accelerate innovation and move ahead.
It's super exciting. I could not underline this more. This is what we do. We are exactly that field matchmaker.
Okay, that was the pitch for Nikolai. That's great.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It's Friday. We're almost at 3 p.m., at least in my time zone. We are hitting the end. Thank you, everybody, for joining. It was a true pleasure. Again, connect, interact. Everybody is available. We're all here named. Connect with us, ask questions also among each other. Thank you very much to Innov8rs for setting this up. Thank you to the three of you for your time and for your insights, and for the audience for staying with us. And that we like take a quick break, and then there is the next session on right afterwards. Thank you, everybody. And we are out, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Bye.
Bye.